Am I the asshole for blowing up at my mother-in-law at a family dinner? Throwaway account. Since my husband is an active Reddit user. I, 23F, have been married to my husband, 24M, for 3 years. We were high school sweethearts and have been best friends since elementary school. He's still my best friend to this day. I've never had a great relationship with his mom. She's difficult to talk to, and our conversations are usually very shallow, gossiping about neighbors, complaining about the landscapers, etc. Almost a year ago, my mom passed away, which still feels surreal to write. She truly was my soulmate, and I'm incredibly grateful to have had her in my life for 23 years. I miss her more than words can describe. My husband's family really stepped up during that time, supporting us financially with funeral costs and managing affairs when I was deep in grief. I'm genuinely grateful for their help. Fast forward to now, we're expecting our first baby. As excited as I am, I'm also deeply saddened that my mom won't be here to guide me through this. We always talked about what my kids would call her. We had settled on Grams. Now, to the incident. We were celebrating our pregnancy at a dinner with my in-laws, and my mother-in-law asked to make a toast. She laughed and said, "I'm so grateful to celebrate a new addition to our family. We can't wait to meet little Veronica," which is her name. She went on to talk about her own pregnancy and what I should expect, mentioning that my husband had an abnormally big head when he was born. Then she said, "I look forward to being the favorite grandma to Veronica, since of course, I'll be the only grandma." The room went silent, and I started to cry. I stood up and told her how incredibly insensitive it was to say that, and that my mom would always be a grandmother, whether she's here or not. She responded by saying I was overreacting, and that it was just a joke. I told her to go to hell and left immediately. My husband later called me, saying he spoke to his mom, who was in tears because she was embarrassed. She asked him to apologize on her behalf, and he told me I should have come back instead of telling her to go to hell and storming off. I'm currently staying with my sister and haven't stopped crying since. She supports me 100%, but I really want to know, am I the asshole? Your mother-in-law said something severely inappropriate and insensitive. No person in their right mind would think what she said was okay, no matter how many years have passed since your mother's death. Hell, my grandmother passed away almost 10 years ago, and when my son was born 2 years ago, my mom and I talked a lot about how much we missed her and how we wished she was here to see him. We still say this often, when he's reached a milestone or we're just doing something we know she would have enjoyed. It's natural to think about deceased relatives more at a time like this, and she says something as callous as that? Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Speaking as a husband who has a mom like this, you need to seriously have a discussion with him about his mom's behavior. He has the power to change how his mother treats you, and it seems like he's okay with what she did and expects you to apologize. I understand it's his mom, but he chose to live a life with you and start a family that needs to be his priority, not mommy's feelings. Not the asshole. Please allow me to recap. Mother-in-law desecrated the memory of your mother while simultaneously attempting to elevate her place in the family. Husband is put out that you left this scene, before giving mother-in-law a chance to weasel her way out via a vicarious apology. Have I got that right? You have a husband problem and a mother-in-law problem. Let's hope that the former corrects itself before the birth. If husband even whispers that Veronica should be included as any part of the name, then take it for the giant, flashing red light that it is. Not the asshole. The room went silent. If you had any doubt as to the validity of your feelings, everyone else just confirmed it. Not the asshole. Mother-in-law speech was ill-planned, poorly conceived and totally insensitive. Other than that, she should be the one apologizing that not only was it a joke, but how deeply mortified she was having had such a low level of empathy and understanding. You are not the not the asshole, and frankly she should be ashamed of herself. She knew exactly what she was doing when she said that, and having him apologize on her behalf just ain't gonna cut it. She needs to apologize herself, in person, and learn to do better. Am I the asshole for hiding my boyfriend's anime body pillow while my parents were visiting? My boyfriend, M, 32, and I, F, 27, have been together for a year. He's only met my parents once over the holidays last year because they live pretty far away. They've been visiting this past week, and since he and I just moved in together, they were excited to see our new place, and get to know my boyfriend a little more. We have an extra bedroom, and this has become my boyfriend's gaming room for the most part, but we agreed when guests come over it would be a second bedroom. He really likes video games and anime in particular, so he has a lot of toys and artwork that he's collected over the years from different games and such. One thing he has is this anime body pillow that features a sexy anime girl on it. He also has a mousepad for his gaming computer that resembles a busty anime girl. Before my parents came over, I asked him to take down his toys and stuff so they could be comfortable. I was upset to see that he left the body pillow and the mousepad in place. I don't really feel comfortable with either item, but he's really into anime, so I've always kind of left it alone. But I absolutely didn't think it was appropriate to leave it in there when my parents would be staying over. I took the cover off the body pillow and put the pillow in the closet, and I put the mousepad in a drawer in our room. When my parents arrived and we showed them to their room, my boyfriend noticed the missing pillow and mousepad. Later, when we were in bed, he brought it up to me and asked why I hid them. I told him I didn't think my parents would feel comfortable with those things in the bedroom, and when they leave we can put them back. My boyfriend got really upset. He told me that he feels like I'm ashamed of his interest in anime. He said he spent his whole life feeling like people think he's weird for being into anime, and he didn't expect his own girlfriend to be, just like everyone else. The next day, I noticed him taking some of his manga books off our bookshelf and putting them into a box. I asked him why, and he said something like, "I'm putting them away so you don't have to look at them anymore." I feel really bad. I feel like I hurt him, but I just really didn't think my parents would feel comfortable sleeping in a room with those items. But now he's just acting so distant and cold, and he's not really engaging with my parents at all. They keep asking me what's wrong, and I don't know what to say. Am I the asshole? There's a huge difference between anime, video game decorations, and sexualized anime content. A busty mousepad and a sexy body pillow would most definitely make anyone feel uncomfortable. I get that it's his space too, but I think a small amount of compromise for a limited time isn't a problem at all. He might see it as you being embarrassed of his interests, but the reality is most people aren't comfortable with sexualized decor. It's not about anime at all. Not the asshole, he really needs to have more consideration for others. Sorry, your boyfriend is trying to make you feel guilty about hair fetishes, and I think you shouldn't let him. Don't get me wrong, everyone has the right to have preferences and fetishes, and get kinky, and whatever, as long as it is legal. But let's be honest here, objects representing over-sexualized lollies, which isn't just anime, might be as awkward for guests as dildos or a Playboy posters when entering an adult's home, even more awkward if those guests are parental figures. Please, tell your boyfriend it was a good try, but he perfectly knows the sexual connotation those very objects have, so he should stop playing the victim and trying to blame others whenever something doesn't go as he expects. That's a dick move, most clear not the asshole I've seen today. Not the asshole, and in fact your boyfriend probably needs counseling. Your boyfriend is dishonest in portraying his interest as being in anime and not sexually suggestive portrayals of young-looking women. We need to stop entertaining this stuff. It's not indicative of emotionally mature and sexually healthy behavior. Not the asshole, a pillow featuring a life-size suggestive drawing of a woman and booby mousepad is not appropriate. There is so much appropriate representation of women in anime, and he picked things that are super objectifying. Like, I wouldn't leave a Playboy out on the coffee table, but it's still arguably just a magazine, right? So it's not about you not wanting to support his love of anime, but him being upset he has to look in the mirror that he has porno laying around as decor, and that's not appropriate for all company. He's basically saying he expects you to be cool with his weird fetishizes. A 32-year-old man doesn't see why it's inappropriate to have fetish decor on display when his girlfriend's parents are visiting? Not the asshole. I've yet to meet anyone that's that obsessed with anime and not be weird ASF. You did the right thing. Not everyone wants to look at some high school-aged chick with her body showing like that. Am I the asshole for buying pads for my sister? A while ago, it was just me and my sister in the house and no one else was home. She was in her bed suffering from period cramps and ran out of pads. She gently asked me if I could buy her pads. She told me the brand and I got them for her. One day I was talking with my girlfriend about this subject and I mentioned that to her. She totally went mad for what I've done and told me, "That's a shame. Why on earth would you do that? I'd rather rip an old shirt and use it than ask my brother to do that. A shame remains a shame." Am I the asshole for doing this? Is my sister the asshole for asking me to get her what she needed in that moment? I apologize for any grammatical mistake anyway. Edit. In addition to that, she told me, "Never comes the day where I ask my brother to buy me such stuff. My principles matter than anything. Even if all men know that periods exist, it's a big shame." Update. We texted lately and she told me, "That's your way of thinking. Do I really need to tell my brothers that I'm on my period? It's not like I'm dying anyway, and you don't need to teach my brothers or my dad what a period is. For me, a woman thing should remain a woman thing. I've never seen a boy get his sister menstrual pads, so I'm not the only one who thinks like this. I hate to expose my things. I'll tell you what, a girl needs to be responsible to prepare her own needs earlier and rely on herself. You may have a little age gap between you and your sister, but my brother is 6 years older than me. I can't ever ask him such thing because I respect him. The only asshole is your girlfriend. Periods aren't shameful. They occur naturally and in half the population. Your sister obviously has a close enough relationship to ask you for support. Your girlfriend should be impressed she has a boyfriend mature enough to purchase feminine hygiene products. Not the asshole. Wow, your girlfriend has some hang-ups about bodily functions. Hello, it is 2024 and everyone should be comfortable talking about menstruation and the items needed for that. There should be zero shame involved in having your period. It is normal and happens about once a month to healthy females. I am sorry for your girlfriend and her uncomfortableness with her own body and talking to others about it. Not the asshole. You did what every brother, sister, mother, father, uncle, aunt etc. should do. Not the asshole. You did a nice thing for your sister. It's definitely okay for a man to buy feminine products for family. Some women were raised to think periods are shameful and men should never know they're happening. I'm guessing your girlfriend was raised that way. It's the 21st century. Men know periods exist. There is no reason to shame women for having them anymore. I bet your sister was grateful that she could rely on you for help. Periods are natural bodily functions and categorizing anything to do with this shameful shows a huge character flaw. I think your girlfriend is dumper material with that view about periods. Not the asshole. Also, respectfully, your girlfriend kind of sucks. Not the asshole. And I genuinely question your girlfriend on her internalized misogyny. It tends to creep out in other ways, sooner or later. Am I the asshole for ranting about how awesome my friend is to my wife? I 33M and my wife, 36F, have 2 kids. Amelia, 9F, and George, 5M. A little over 2 weeks ago my wife went on her planned trip with her family. It was planned for months in advance, involving 2 weddings, several reunions and meeting nephews. A week before she left, I injured my leg. It was a partial tendon tear, and I did not require surgery. So, while it did hurt, we decided to move on with the plan, as it wasn't too bad. A few days into my wife being gone, I realized that I had made a mistake. By day 5, I decided I had to go into surgery because I was scaring the kids. I called my wife to explain, and she was understandably pretty pissed. She told me she could ask one of her friends, Stacy, to pick up the kids, but the rest was on me. I told her I didn't trust Stacy. I don't. She has gotten a DUI before, and I could get my own friend to do it. She was still mad, and we argued for a while, but she ended up saying that since she could cut her trip I could do whatever. My friend, Jason, has been an angel this past week. George and Amelia love him, and he's been helping me too. He helped me after the surgery, and even took a few days off. My wife has been checking in every few days, and today I was talking to her about how awesome he's been. I'm up and moving again, although stairs are a challenge. I'm currently living in the living room. Sally, my wife, got really mad for some reason. I don't quite get why. Talking about how Stacy could have done the same, Jason isn't special, and she doesn't know why I'm ranting about him so much, etc. I was quite shocked, having not expected that, and currently she's not answering my calls. What is she mad about? Am I the asshole? Please help. Edit. I have been told this is important to mention. The reason my wife got mad about me getting surgery is because she was the one who had told me not to get it, as it wouldn't heal in time for her to leave. I agreed, thinking I could handle the pain. I could not. Not the asshole. By day 5, I decided I had to go into surgery because I was scaring the kids. I called my wife to explain, and she was understandably pretty pissed. Why the hell is she pissed? She's pissed at you for needing surgery? That's not a reasonable reaction. The whole thing sounds like she doesn't care about how you feel, and is pissed because someone else does. I'll tell you one thing. Some of the comments on here show how biased against men this sub can be. A lot of assumptions being made. Every other sentence in this story your wife does or says something shitty. What are you getting out of this marriage? You're hurt, she gets mad at you. You get help, she gets mad at you. She leaves on vacation for weeks and leaves you with all the responsibilities, and she gets mad at you. Not the asshole. She's not answering your calls while you're parenting 2 kids alone, while injured? Dude, it would have to be something very extreme for that to be a reasonable choice by her. The fact that it's the result of some weird misinterpretation of your praise for Jason only makes it worse. Your wife needs to actively work on healthy communication. She's modeling this behavior for your kids and they will think it's the right way to cope themselves. Not the asshole. I think she's taking your praise of Jason, who TBF, sounds like an amazing friend, as a criticism of her friend, Stacy, which isn't what you were trying to do. It's just how she interpreted it after the argument. I would just tell her you aren't trying to say anything bad about Stacy, and that you just really appreciate everything Jason is doing. Talking about how Stacy could have done the same, Jason isn't special, and she doesn't know why I'm ranting about him so much, etc. Would she really prefer you be praising her female friend who was staying with you, taking care of her kids, alone in her home, while you're vulnerable post-surgery? Does she not like Jason or something? Stacy is her friend, not yours. OFC, you'd prefer your friend help you out. Not the asshole.